Hi there, Aaron Walter here. If you're hearing this, you're not currently on our premium subscriber feed. Design Better Premium subscribers enjoy weekly episodes, 4 episodes per month in total, rather than 2, all ad-free and invitations to our monthly AMAs with the smartest folks in design and tech. You'll hear a preview of this episode, but if you'd like to hear the full conversation, please consider becoming a premium subscriber at designbetterpodcast.com/subscribe. It's just $7 a month, and it supports not only your personal growth, it also makes our work at Design Better possible. The podcast is available to everyone through our scholarship program. If you can't afford a subscription, email us at subscriptions@thecuriositydepartment.com, and we'll help you out.
It's hard to really explain what makes a good song. But you can put a piece of that deeper self of who you are. Not that your body is not yourself, but there's another part of yourself that we can't see. And if you put that into what you're doing, it speaks to people. There's something in all of us that wants a connection on that level.
Jazz is a constantly evolving art form, offering some of the richest lessons in creative collaboration. A melody and chord progression provides the foundation, but as each musician brings their unique improvisational perspective, the music takes on unexpected, transformative shapes.
If you ask any fan of the genre, who is it that's pushing jazz into new territory, Kamasi Washington's name will most certainly come up, likely at the very top. His 2015 album, The Epic, won him the American Music Prize and stands, in our humble opinion, as one of the greatest jazz records of the 21st century. Kamasi also contributed to Kendrick Lamar's Grammy-winning record To Pimp a Butterfly. He scored Michelle Obama's Netflix documentary Becoming, and he's collaborated with musical legends like Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, Lauryn Hill, Nas, Snoop Dogg, Chaka Khan, and so many more.
In this episode, we spent an evening with Kamasi exploring his creative process, what he's learned from his collaborators, his philosophy on collaboration, and his latest album, Fearless Movement. This is Design Better, where we explore creativity at the intersection of design and technology. I'm Eli Woolery.
And I'm Aaron Walter. You can get ad-free episodes, bonus content, discounted workshops, and access to all our monthly AMAs with big names in design and tech by becoming a Design Better Premium subscriber. It is also the best way to support the show. Visit designbetterpodcast.com/subscribe to learn more. We'll return to the conversation after this quick break. Hey, you've got ideas. Now all you need is a website to make them real. Well, here's good news. Bluehost makes it super easy. I've used them many times, and I love them. It's the all-in-one platform for building and hosting websites. You can save time on design and use AI to build a custom WordPress site within minutes. No coding skills needed, just your ideas. Bluehost also has tools to help you optimize and scale your website's growth, all in one place. Things like blogging, SEO, social posting, email campaigns, and so much more. It's all built into the platform, which makes it super easy. And when you upgrade to Bluehost Cloud, you can start managing multiple sites and domains. Pretty great if you're working with a lot of clients. Not only that, you can also get 100% uptime, enhanced security, and priority 24/7 support to keep you online no matter what. That means no crashing from heavy traffic. Build your brand, build your following, build your website. Build it with Bluehost. Go to bluehost.com and start building your dream website today. I love wine, but I often feel overwhelmed by the options out there. But I recently joined Wine Access, and I'm learning a lot. Wine Access not only ship to your door some of the world's most inspiring wines, they also educate subscribers with full-color information cards that accompany each bottle. I love these cards. They provide details on flavor profile, what food your wine pairs well with, how long to decant, the ideal drinking temperature, and plenty of fascinating information about the producers. This month, I got a 4-bottle shipment from Wine Access's new club called The Wait List, which is curated by culinary icons. The box I received is from Atomics, a 2 Michelin star restaurant and the top U.S. restaurant on the world's 50 best list. Other curators include Emeril, yes, that Emeril of New Orleans, and Daniel Boulud and his flagship restaurant, Danielle in New York City, which is also a 2 Michelin star restaurant. It's such a fun way to learn about wine, and everything you receive will be a winner. I've been super impressed by how thoughtfully Wine Access curates and educates. You should totally join the Waitlist Wine Club. Just visit wineaccess.com/waitlist and use promo code DESIGNBETTER, all one word, for $25 off your first shipment. That's wineaccess.com/waitlist and use the code DESIGNBETTER to save $25. The holidays and snuggly weather are upon us. It's a great time to enjoy great wine with the people that you love. wineaccess.com/waitlist. And now, back to the show. Kamasi Washington, welcome to Design Better.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I am such a huge fan of your work and excited to talk to you. It's always fun to start from the beginning to find someone's origin story before getting in deep about the work. So you were born into a pretty musical family. Your dad, Ricky Washington, is a professional saxophone and flute player, also teaches music, perhaps still. And your mom was a high school chemistry teacher. Could you maybe paint a picture for us of the Washington household in like the mid-'80s? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, my mom is a science teacher, but she actually plays flute too. And I had a grandfather play violin and great-grandfather played saxophone. My uncle played organ. I have an aunt, Lula, that's a dancer. My older brother played piano too. My younger sister, she wasn't born in the 80s, but she's an amazing painter as well. And I have another sister that's a great designer. She even directed one of the videos for my album. So yeah, I had a very artistic household, and music was definitely one of the big centerpieces of that. And my father, amongst my generation, was definitely the driving force of that. He's a musician and he was a music teacher. He was just someone that really believed in honing your creativity the way you were going to do it. There was a situation where if I was practicing, I was cool, but if I was watching TV, Pops was he was going to be on my head,
So I read a couple different versions of this, but somewhere between the ages of 2 and 3, maybe you already started, you got your drum set, you already started with your drum set. And just reading that, man, this guy must be a prodigy. But from one of the interviews I was listening to, you said one of your brothers was actually considered the prodigy. And sort of maybe it took some of the pressure off you and you could kind of get your own thing going. Is that true?
Yeah, I had an older brother that was more of a prodigy. I mean, we all played music young, but he was good young, And so, yeah, he kind of took a lot of that attention, because, when you're coming from a musical family, there can be some expectations and things like that.
Mm.
And so I kind of got to just be a kid that was playing music, music was kind of just fun for me, while all those kind of peering eyes of how good are you going to be when you're 5? He kind of caught that. And so, what ended up happening is music kind of stayed in a very positive energy for me. There was no pressure with it, until I got a little older.
So you've got a creative, stimulating environment as you're growing up. You've got some guidance and structure, but it's not too much pressure. And then you get this great opportunity to go to a high school in LA, the Academy of Music of Alexander Hamilton High School. That seems like a pretty unique educational experience. Like my son, he's a freshman right now. He's studying AP Gov and taking kind of the standard stuff, but you got to focus on music. Talk to us about what that experience was like and how you changed in those 4 years as a high schooler.
Yeah, it was great. There were all different types of ensembles. So I was in jazz band, orchestra, wind ensemble, electronic music, piano, theory. We had beautiful 9-foot grand Steinway pianos. There was a whole kind of music school within the school. So there was a music school, a humanities school, and then just a regular public school. There were a lot of resources. And they did a really great job of giving you a very well-rounded musical education pretty early. I was learning different styles of music, They were very good about teaching you about like etiquette, being on time. You learn how to read and be professional, do all these types of things. At the same time, I was at Hamilton. My father's teacher, Reggie Andrews, he had a band called the Motor School Jazz Band. So after leaving my music high school, I would go to another music after school situation with a lot of the best young musicians around the city. And that really was like, as good as Hamilton was, and Hamilton was great. There were a lot of great musicians, and I was inspired by a lot of those kids. When I went to multi school and I heard people like Isaac Smith and Terrence Martin and Stephen Bruner and Ronald Bruner Jr. and Ryan Porter, I was just completely blown away. So I had a really great musical education, in my formative years.
What did that do for your confidence, your motivation, like to create a drive in you? Did that change the way that you were approaching music?
Yeah, I actually, like, when I joined the Motor School Jazz Band, I had a moment where we played the Playboy Jazz Festival, and I was serious about music, but I was lightly serious. Those other kids in that band, they were serious. And Reggie Andrews, he gave me a solo. I didn't think I had a solo. We played the Playboy Jazz Festival, 17,000 people. When going into it, I didn't think I had a solo. And I'll never forget, we were playing Red Clay by Freddie Hubbard, and he pointed to me. And I turned around. I'm like, he's not talking to me, is he?
So someone standing behind me?
And I did my best, but I just really wasn't happy with where I was. Because I loved music. And in that moment, I didn't like the way I felt. And I was like, I'm going to really shed real hard this summer. And that kind of started me on this path of like growth. And like music is an interesting thing. It's like the better you get, the more you want to get better. As you get better, the desire to get even better than that grows. And the more you get out of the music, the more fun music becomes, and the more it really just becomes food for your soul. I remember I came back after that summer, I had grown a lot. And I remember everybody kind of like a little bit shocked. And they're like, what happened? And I was like, oh man, I didn't want to get embarrassed no more.
Yeah, that is fascinating that like shame or embarrassment can be a motivator. Do you know Julian Lange, it's guitarist?
Oh yeah.
He had the same thing, same story. Like when he was a kid, like going in for lessons, he had a couple moments where he was embarrassed, where, his teacher would ask him if he knew like a diminished chord or a certain scale or something. And he's like, I don't know. And I don't ever want to have that feeling again that I don't know. And it just lit a fire under him.
Yeah. Music it could be the love of your life, but it can also break your heart. Because you end up loving it so much, you always want the good for them. And it wasn't that I was doing bad for my age. I think that's the important thing about like kids kind of seeing other kids. Like, I would listen to the record, but those are like adults and people that they felt kind of distant. When you hear somebody your age kind of making the music the way you wish you can make it, it was inspiring for me. I don't know if it was shame, but it was more like it kind of gave me a clear perspective on where I was and where I wanted to be. You can kind of lie to yourself. Like if you're kind of serious, but you're around a bunch of people that are halfway serious, then you think you're doing good. But then you get around some kids that are like really, really, really on it, then you kind of know, oh man, I need to practice.
Kamasi, one of the first big artists that you toured with was Snoop Dogg. I'm a big fan of his, so my kids, all this stuff. I'm just curious, like you speak to your love of music and just rewinding earlier in your childhood, it sounded like artists like Snoop were a big influence. And there was also a danger, like in South Central LA, where I believe you grew up, that you might get drawn into a different track, kind of more of a gang track. And from one interview I listened to, he said that can happen at a really young age, but it was really in part your love of music that kind of kept you away from that. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Obviously when I started playing with Snoop, I was much older. And the reality is that a lot of times that path is something that you get kind of swept into pretty young, like elementary school. People don't realize, these are just kids and they don't really realize what they're getting into, until they get a little older. And then by the time you're a little older, you're kind of stuck. And so, yeah, for me.
If you'd like to continue listening to this conversation, you'll need to subscribe at designbetterpodcast.com/subscribe. Once you do, you'll get access to every full-length episode, all ad-free, monthly AMAs with inspiring people in design and tech, and recordings of all our past AMAs. The podcast is available to everyone through our scholarship program. If you can't afford a subscription, Just email us at subscriptions@thecuriositydepartment.com and we'll help you out. Your support makes Design Better possible. Invest in yourself and the design community by subscribing at designbetterpodcast.com.